What is going on, my Go Squad? Welcome to Tactical Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, April 17th, 2018. Today is going to be I think it's going to be a good show. We got a couple topics to talk about. I'm glad to see everybody out there. And in the YouTube world, we are, as always, live on YouTube, and we are simulcasting on GunChannels.com. If you're not familiar with GunChannels.com, it is a wonderful community. It's been going on for a little over 4 years now. There's the link to it over the YouTube side. It's a great two-way community. It's a pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment. We have a lot of interesting conversations over there. We have 24-hour lobby chats that you can find discussions on pretty much everything you want to talk about. If you have questions on firearms or anything firearm-related, there are many, many, many very knowledgeable people over there. I like to call it the water cooler of the Second Amendment. Most of your content creators and show hosts that you guys watch are a lot of them are over there on Gun Channels as well. So go and check us out, and it's free to sign up and hang out in the lobby and all of that. So go check us out. Speaking of the Gun Channel side, you got G Webs is over there. John G's got a link. I don't know if he's just asleep. He might be asleep for all I know. You never know with him. On the YouTube side, as always, it is a jumping crowd. You got Patriot in the Dark over there, Simplify, bro. He said he's going to have to, daughter's gone. He's going to have to watch Full Metal Jacket as loud as surround sound goes, so he'll catch the show on replay. That's a phenomenal idea, so go check out that. And we'll be talking a little bit Arlie Ermey, old Gunny, if you will. Now let's see who else is out there. You've got Rich White, the 1%, William Stanley, Nighthog, Grim, who's also in here, Richard Chamberlain. What is going on, my man? Outlaw, that guy's wife. Hello, Armand. How are you? Guitar Pete, Insight, Black Cat Outdoors, Joe Ziola, Gunpowder Beauty, Sean Green, Amanda H. Roll Call, Jared Leffler. Let's see here. Mike Ozzy Osborne. What's up, Ozzy? Scott Pacini's in their house. JB, John Brown Productions, Sand Hills. What's up? Too hotty. Pacini, I think I might have said Pacini's out there. Cycle Camp's out there too. Love Moo. And Shooting with Uncle Dan. We will be growing as we can. What's going on? If you guys are in the if you guys are in the chat, know what's up, Native Gun, go ahead and say hello in the chat. And if you're new to the show, go ahead and tell us where you are, where you're watching from, and we'll send a shout out to you. As always, we'd love to answer any questions as we can. If the chat gets going too quickly, sometimes we'll miss some of them. If you want to, make sure you tag me in your question at Ghost Tactical when you type your question. If you want to do that, or you can send an email to live@ghosttactical.us, and I will read your questions on air. So let me put that out there. Live at Ghost Tactical. G Webs has said he's in Arizona. I don't believe it. I don't know where you are, but you're not in Arizona. No, just kidding. G, I sent you a link over there, so I'd love to have you jump in and check your Gun Channel side. So anyways, let's say hi to the panel. We got a couple more invites out there. I think, hey, G just made it. I think Tac Daddy just blew us off to play video games. I don't know what that says about the show or our friendship, but he is playing video games instead of the show. So I guess we can make it without him. But let's check out the illustrious panel right now. We've got our producer engineer, the John Z Project out of New York. What's going on, John?
What is going on, Ghost Crew? Thanks everybody for joining us, and thanks for the panel being on the show with us tonight.
That's right. That is right. From South Carolina, the Palmetto State, the Outlaw Hatfield. Ellis, how the hell are you?
I am freaking awesome. How are you, man?
You're freaking awesome. Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, you know, I could have said fucking, but I'm trying to stay away from the F-bombs.
Well, I appreciate it. It is what it is. Out of Illinois or Hellinois, if you want to call it that, the edumacator himself, the Grim Reaper. What's up, Grim?
How's it going, everybody? Good. Going good. Thanks for the invite again. Good man, cause some trouble.
I'm starting to feel like you're getting ready to be like Apollo Creed. You've got so many nicknames now. You get the Educator, the Grim, the Reaper. So I'll get you some American flag boxing trunks you can wear next time we see each other. Apollo Creed.
As we deliver pizza, that'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? From Arizona, the Godfather, G Webs. What's going on?
I've met every single person in here that can be verified as a human being, except for one person who could easily be a robot voice, for all we know.
That is true. Ellis has not been seen by anyone in this room, so you don't know.
Not in person, anyway.
Not in person. And from the great state of Texas, the tactical leprechaun himself, Clover Tack. What's going on, my man?
I'm stellar. So good evening.
It's stellar. Holy cow. We got a couple new people that jumped in. C4 Defense Sarge, I sent you a link in your email. If you want to jump in, I'd love to have you. D-Tim's out there. Amanda, let's see here. Oh, okay. John Z is going through the roll call in his chat. So very good, very good. C4, I guess he's talking about Grim. He said, often imitated, never educated. That must be about Grim. Let's see here.
That
Sean
was a good one.
Reed. Hey, John, 12 Gauge. What's up, 12 Gauge? How you doing, brother? Shooting with Uncle Dan. I think I mentioned shooting with Uncle Dan already. I might have missed him. Let's see here. I'm trying to check up if there's Lockjaw's out there. So I think I saw. Did I see? I saw. Yeah, I saw Lockjaw. Okay. All right. Again, I'm caught up. Holy cow! I'm caught up for now. Guys, what we're going to talk about real quick is obviously a few days ago. I guess we should start out real quick in case y'all haven't heard. About 25 minutes ago, somewhere around there, I got a notification that Barbara Bush had died. Barbara was the first lady of George H. Bush and the mother of George W. Bush. So she's been on her deathbed for quite some time. And it's kind of one of those things that it's never a good thing, but it was probably a blessing because I think that she's kind of been hurting for a while. So rest in peace, Barbara Bush. But I wouldn't say the big one because I don't want to, make anyone sound like they're not big news. But for the gun community, I will say we lost one of our biggest advocates out there. We lost Ermey, the gunny. He died a couple days ago, and everyone's been talking about it, and I have not done anything about it. I thought I'd talk about it tonight for obvious reasons, not just because he's a very good gun advocate out there, but he's also a fellow Marine. So, if you guys aren't familiar who he was the drill instructor on Full Metal Jacket. And if you guys aren't really aware of how that all played out, he was a consultant. And the actor that they had playing the drill instructor, Ermey was convinced that he could never quite get the job done. And they put him in front of the camera, and the rest is history. I don't know what you guys think, but in my eyes, the 15-20 minutes of the boot camp scene in Full Metal Jacket very well could be one of the most real, best 15 minutes in a long time of any movie I've seen, because it was absolutely accurate. It was real, and it was phenomenal cinematic. But what do you guys think about old Arlie gone? I know that he had mail time with Gunny and all that, and he's just gonna be sorely missed. But you guys see any cool tributes or anything the last couple of days for him? Guess not. All right.
Just on Instagram, really, for me. I haven't seen any videos or anything.
I completely missed what you said. I got a message at the same time you were saying it.
Well, I know that, those South Carolina people, they can't do two things at once. So that's about Ermey. Have you seen any cool tributes or anything for Ermey the last couple of days?
There's a few videos out there that I thought was fitting. One was a retrospective of all the things that he had done in the acting world, some of the major roles that he had portrayed, some of the animation that he had been involved in. He had his hands on everything.
He had a really great career. He really did.
He had his hands in literally anything and everything when it comes to television and movie. He was in the movies. He was in animated kids shows, documentaries. He had 2 of his own shows, Lock and Loaded and Mail Call. And I heard he was working on a 3rd one. So, you know, we're going to miss him.
All of that, he would go to trade shows. He'd be at SHOT Show, and for many days SHOT Show is 4 days or whatever. He'd be sitting there for 4 days from like the beginning to the end. Basically, he probably took time for lunch and maybe a break or something, but rarely. And he'd have a line around the around the little, Glock booth isn't small, so it'd be like a whole island there, big old line all day long. And I haven't ever talked to anybody that said he was short with them or that he didn't take time. And he took time with everybody, but everybody seen that and was cool with it because he was going to take time with you too. And he was the real deal.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
I would have loved to have gone to previous SHOT shows and got a chance to meet him. That would have been really, really cool. I was reading a couple days ago when it happened. I was reading some stuff on him, and I didn't know that he was brought in as a consultant for Apocalypse Now, and I had no idea that they brought him in to do some stuff. And and I started reading a list of all the stuff that he was either in or associated with, and like I said, I had no idea. I knew he was in a lot of stuff, but I had no idea how elaborate his career and how long his career truly was. It was unbelievable. I was just amazed because I think most of us will probably. Oh yeah, Tech Daddy just realized what day it was. Anyways, I think a lot of us know him and see him as Full Metal Jacket's drill instructor. And that's obviously where he got to start and all that. But he did so many more things, and for the gun community, he was huge. And I'm wanting to see if maybe something comes down the line. Does Glock come away with or come out with a gunny Glock of some sort? Tribute?
I'm sure, because he was a big part.
They have to, don't they?
Yeah, I can't imagine they wouldn't.
Yeah.
So you never had a chance to meet him?
I've never had a chance to meet him. I never did, and
he was really approachable, and like say every single year at SHOT. So, and I know that was the same at NRA show and others. Like he was just a cool dude. He understood that he was an icon, and that people appreciated meeting him. And I think as a granddad type of guy, he just appreciated meeting people and hearing stories. He was just genuinely interested. You can't pay somebody to be that genuinely interested, right?
Oh no.
Me and Haas were driving around the country in 12. And we go to Smoky Mountain Knives Work, a really big knife store in Tennessee. And just coincidentally, he's going to be there that weekend to do one of these signings, right? So he's just walking around on a Friday before his actual appointment or whatever, just checking out this knife store. And Haas is a Marine. They meet up and chat for a bit. And the dude just sat there and chatted. I mean, he could have been a total prick. He could have had people around to make sure that he had his quiet time. He was just a cool dude. So what I'm saying is I've had a chance to meet him, I guess, a handful of times, and he was always just a really genuine, cool dude. Never heard of anybody who's had a problem with meeting him. And think about that. Like you said, how often he was in movies. He was a actor, or else what do they call, the person that they get their information from, an expert. And think about all the Hollywood people he touched. When we talk about Hollywood people, he had to be a great influence. Obviously, pro-gun, pro-2A, pro-freedom, but they're, being that presence in Hollywood, we're really missing something with that guy being gone.
The quality of spokesperson that he was, and he lived every word that he said.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there's something to be said for that.
I know that, and this doesn't touch everybody, and it doesn't mean a whole lot to other people. Technical advisor, thanks, Pacini. That's what he was. Technical advisor. It doesn't mean a whole lot to a lot of people, but he was always, like you said, a very pro-gun person, very Second Amendment, a great spokesman. He was a phenomenal, literally to the day he died, a spokesman for the Marine Corps. And for us, that means a great deal that we have a public figure, not just a famous hero, war hero, but we're talking about someone who was literally in the public's eye as a Marine and was everywhere I ever saw him in public. He was wearing something on him, whether it was a hat or the Marine Corps lapel pin, something on him somewhere always said U.S. Marine Corps on it. And that's just something that means a great deal to a lot of us. You know, he was not necessarily a gunnery sergeant. He was a staff sergeant, and they gave him the honorary rank of gunnery sergeant. And that's where Gunny comes from. It's the nickname we call gunnery sergeant is Gunny. But he was not a true gunnery sergeant. And the Marine Corps, two things about that. The Marine Corps does not hand out honorary ranks very often. So the fact that they saw that he deserved to be an honorary Gunny says a lot. But two, the respect that he has from the Marines, and every Marine that I've ever seen a video of or a picture of, I've seen video where he was walking down the road somewhere and walked past a guy that has a Marine Corps t-shirt on, literally stopped that guy. That guy didn't recognize who Ermey was, stopped him on the side of the road, shook his hand, took a picture with him, and said, "Thank you for your service," and walked away. And I'm sure that guy figured out who it was later, but he did that. And that's something that means a great deal because, you know, when you hear someone, and I can say this, when I hear someone say thank you to me for my service, I'll just say thanks and, you know, kind of try to dismiss it a little bit because it's really, that's not why we serve. But when you have another serviceman, and especially an older serviceman, thank you for your service, that means a great deal to me because I should be thanking that guy. And I try to do that. I was at McDonald's a couple of days ago getting something for lunch, and there was probably an 85, 90-year-old man, and he had a Korean War veteran hat on at McDonald's, and I walked over there and bought him a coffee and shook his hand. But typically, the younger veterans thank the older ones. Very seldomly do you see an older one thank a younger one, and he did that on a regular basis. He's a class act, and he's going to be well missed. So, Semper Fidelis, Gunny, we're going to miss you, but he's a good man from everything that I've heard of. I wish I would have met him. I love his TV show. You guys ever watch Mail Call with Gunny? That was a great show.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you guys.
I spent a lot of time watching that show.
That's a great one.
Just great personality, though, all around. I mean, is there anybody that disliked him? I mean, think about it.
That's what G was saying. He never, I don't think, not that I know of, I never heard anyone say that they didn't like him. He probably didn't have very many enemies in his life.
He was Ermey was the true epitome of his spoken word, because he what he preached.
Yeah. Jared Leffler out there says if Glock comes out with a Gunny edition Glock, it'll be the only Glock he ever buys, but he will buy it. Richard says he'd buy that Glock. I'm trying to get caught up here. Gunny or not, I still don't give Glock money. Rich White says. Let's see here. The Gunny 1911 or a Beretta. Oh, that you know, that would be kind of cool with a Beretta 92 with just Gunny on there or something like that. That'd be kind of a cool. Gunny 1911.
Any of them would be a good commemorative, really.
Yeah.
Make a 3-set that they would.
Yeah.
If they made a commemorative Glock with a Gunny logo on it or something, I would have to buy that. And I'm not even a Glock fan. I'd buy it simply for that.
We actually mentioned it on Ellis' show, but Tardot just brought it up.
Yeah, he did.
He got to meet Gunny at Walmart, and he was engraving knives. He actually got to meet him doing that, so that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And he was talking to everyone like a regular person. He was really down to earth.
Yeah, like I said, I've never heard anyone speak a bad word about Gunny at all. Excuse me. No, so yeah, he's gonna be definitely missed, and he led a good life and did a lot of things, and he'll be remembered for many, many things. On the gun side of things, we obviously lost one of our biggest spokesmen out there that was visual and was proud to be a visual spokesman of the gun community in the Second Amendment. So that will hurt down the road, I'm sure. But Troy says, yeah, Gunny was also a spokesperson for solid knives. I didn't know that, actually. Anybody else know that? I didn't know that.
That's what Tardot had mentioned. He was autographing the SOG knives.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Walmart.
didn't know he was posting for them. Yeah. Before we go on, do you want to take our first station break?
Sure.
Go for it.
It goes tackle. We understand rising regarding guns and gun control. It is more important than ever to be vigilant about our Second Amendment rights. We encourage everyone to stay informed and continue to keep contacting your local, state, and federally elected officials to make sure they're hearing your voice. They represent you, and without your input, their votes may be susceptible to outside influences. We ask that you actively support any gun rights organizations, whether it be the Gun Owners of America, the Second Amendment Foundation, or the Firearms Policy Coalition, and even the National Rifle Association. We understand that you may not agree with all the politics involved with some of these organizations, but at this time, with the state that this country is in, we encourage everyone to keep up with the information and continue to support as many of these organizations as you can.
There you go. Appreciate it. We're going to go real quick and touch on sorry about that. Let's get a text. We're going to talk real quick about the 2A rallies. A bunch of them took place over the weekend. I know that there were some that Mother Nature postponed. I think some of them are going to come back this weekend. But we had ours in Little Rock and Saturday, and it was nice temperature, but it was extremely windy. I mean, I think they said they had gusts up to 40 or something. It was very, very strong wind. We had a good turnout. I'd say, anywhere from, I would say 150 to 200 people, which is a lot better than what we had, obviously, last November. So I was very very pleased to see that. You had a nice group of people that kind of took it on, and I've kind of befriended some of them, and so I was really happy to meet James and Clay and Michael, and really good guys. They really kind of took this on and did a really good job promoting it. Like I said, I think we had a couple anti-gunners there, and if you guys are watching the chat, I found Johnny, and Johnny was gracious enough to join us for a quick live interview and discussion. And what's up, Mateo? How's it going, brother? Yeah, so we talked about that. But did you guys happen to hear or go to, if you didn't go to any of your Capitol rallies? I know a bunch of you guys had some stuff to do, but have you heard how your state rallies ended up? And we'll start. Ellis, did you guys have one in South Carolina?
We did. I did not attend. I had prior commitments. I haven't talked to anybody that was there, so I don't know how well it went or didn't go. So, but as soon as I do find out some information, I will be sure to get back to you, Trey.
Yeah, I just wanted to see how every other state went. I've had a couple of people send me emails and text. Hold on here. I'm not smart enough to do two things at once. Basically, Guitar Pete said that Johnny was an idiot, but he stood there and took it like a man. I think Johnny was there. I don't want to say he wasn't necessarily anti-gun. I think he was anti-gun violence. I think we're all anti-gun violence. But he had an interesting couple of points that he basically said that the local pawn shop was selling to 16 and 17-year-old kids, and he wants there to be background checks for everyone buying a firearm, and didn't understand that there's no way, first of all, a 16-year-old kid's going to a pawn shop and buying a gun, especially not without a background check. He didn't understand that was a federal law, but that's I think he might have, I don't know if he understood enough to go look it up, but we let him speak his piece and all that. So it was an interesting conversation. He was actually getting harassed early on when I first got there, and it was pretty sad. A couple of Capitol police was there, and they were trying to get people away from him. And he didn't do anything. He was literally just standing there holding a sign up. He didn't say a word to anybody, just holding a sign up there. And this one guy kept going back and yelling at him. I went over there and promptly escorted him away from that guy and told him that grow up, and he needed to be a good representative of the gun community. And he didn't like what I had to say, but it really didn't matter. He walked away. But Johnny was gracious enough to come on camera, and like I said, he had never done that before, so he was nervous, and it is what it is. I wish we could hear a little bit better. I didn't realize the wind was blowing that hard that it just sounded like a big wind tunnel. But Johnny was a good guy. He was not necessarily informed all that well, but he has every right to speak his opinion, and I think that's what it's all about. As we walked away, shook hands, he respected my opinion, I respected his, and whether we agree with each other or not, it ended very positively. So I think that's a conversation that was a positive one because. Yeah, Night Strike. Yeah, we talked about that early on. Barbara Bush died a little while ago, but yeah, she's a good woman, very classy, and all that. But anyways, so let's get back to the Capitol rallies at all. John, I'm assuming they didn't have anything in New York.
No, unfortunately, no. like
Yeah,
zero, nothing upstate whatsoever.
I would imagine that would be a difficult place to have.
I was trying to go through with the with the 2A Capital Facebook page, and it's just nothing. I don't know if people are giving up, if they don't want to bother trying anymore, if maybe they're trying to fight just to get New York City to stop effing around with the entire state or something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, nothing. Unfortunately.
Well, let me ask you this: is it a lot like Illinois, where Chicago kind of, I don't know, dominates the political arena? It's New York City. I mean, Buffalo and Rochester and all these places aren't New York City, but does how the political scheme in New York City, does that kind of dictate the rest of the state up there?
Unfortunately, financially, it affects the entire state.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know if people just didn't want to bother wasting time because they knew it wasn't, maybe they thought it wasn't going to make a difference. Right. There were a few people on the website going back and forth with one another trying to figure something out, but yeah, people are just tired of talking, and I totally understand that, and I don't blame them for feeling that way.
Yeah, I do too. Gee, was there anything going on in Arizona? Were you in town this weekend, or were you still driving back? He might not even be with us. Is he still around with us?
He was 2 minutes ago. He may have stepped away.
I'm going back and forth here. Are you saying if to the Arizona Capitol rally?
Yeah, I didn't know if.
Well, the Capitol rally was in Phoenix.
I didn't know if you were back or not, or did you?
The Capitol rally was in Phoenix, and I was in Austin, and then San Antonio the day before, and it was expensive, and I was doing taxes, so I got off my ass and went to Phoenix anyway, and 300 people, other people did too. Angry went there. He was there like an hour early, and got to see the whole crowd start to assemble and show up. This is what it was like when I got there about an hour or something into it, and I guess it had already died down a little bit by now. And the news was out there, and quite a few people were talking underneath this thing here. I think he estimated about 300 something people were there. Arizona Citizens Defense League had it set up. Patriot Movement, I think they're the people who put it on, and then some of these other tents were just for like shade and people that knew that it was going to be potentially hot out there. This guy in the white was walking around filing up or getting signatures for a petition. He's like a libertarian guy, or he's a guy running on a libertarian ticket for some kind of like water board or something, basically just to get another libertarian on the ticket. So it was interesting talking to somebody like that. And that's Jimmy's grandkid waving a flag around.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, 300 people.
Turnout there.
Pretty good turnout. There was a lot of police staged nearby. I took a video on the Instagram to kind of show the potential overreaction, I think, that the police showed from Phoenix there. Let's see if I can bring it up.
Did the Arizona Citizen Defense League, did they help promote it? I mean, did they kind of take on the role of promoter?
I don't want to say too bad because I just didn't hear anything from them. I don't know if this is going up, but this is, I don't know if you could see from that video, the number of police that showed up, the riot van, the mobile command, all of these are SWAT vans and stuff. various SUVs and things that were all copped. So if that park or whatever was like where a bunch of soccer fields, like every single parking lot had police presence in it. They were loaded for bear. Look at how many police I'm driving past in this parking lot alone. And this is just where the most of them were staged. So I don't know what they thought was going to happen, but all that happened was a bunch of people got together and basically just, stood there for a couple hours in this part of Phoenix for guns in the Second Amendment.
Did anybody do like speeches or anything like that?
Yeah, that's what it was. Pretty much the whole time. It was speech after speech after speech through like a loudspeaker.
Let's see here. Schooling. I must be talking about schooling. Oh, Knob Creek. What? Okay. Brainstorm. What's going on? Brainstorm's in the hizzy. I think I saw Maverick's in the house. Maverick is in the house. He said a couple hundred people went to Rally New York. Check out Logic Rex channel. Oh, definitely will. So there's a couple hundred people in New York. That's great. I hadn't heard that. So
but none of them came to the 2A Capital Rally website on Facebook to put it together.
Okay, they just have
everybody wanted to make up their own freaking different group. I mean, that's
I get that, and I wish it would be a little bit more organized. But the fact that there were a couple hundred people show up in New York, I know a couple hundred out of, 12, 13 million people or whatever there is. But in New York, having a couple hundred, regardless if it was organized or not, I think that at least there were a couple hundred people that were willing to do that. So I take that as a win in New York. I don't know. All right.
Frustrating.
You're the local expert. We'll let you have it. Grim, did you hear anything about Chicago? Or actually, where is the state capital? It's in
Albany.
Did you say Chicago was the state capital? Oh my
I said
God!
Springfield. I said, how's everything in Chicago? And I said,
okay,
you finished, Daniel. I would loved to have done that. I think it's in Springfield, is it not?
Yes.
All right. Was there anything in Springfield?
Give me a minute here. What?
Yeah, no, we're going to go to Clover. Clover, how about Texas?
Sorry.
Hey, Ghost, do you see my screen share?
Let me get over here real quick.
Okay.
Screen share. Okay, here you go. So talk about it a little bit, John. So this is in New York, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, it could have been so much bigger. I mean, it could have been huge, as Trump would say.
Yeah.
And that's all the video. And that's all the video.
Like I said, I mean, we didn't hear anything out of New York, and I don't even know if we really expect anything in New York, but a couple hundred people, like I said, it could have been bigger if it was organized and all that, and I understand that side of it, but just the fact that there were a couple hundred people in New York, we had almost a couple hundred people in Arkansas, which if you look at Arkansas versus New York, there should be a lot more, but Arkansas is also a lot more pro-gun than New York is also, so just having a couple hundred people out there is a start. And like I said,
I'm disappointed in the fact that they wanted to make it their own thing. And the 2A Capital Rally on Facebook has been out for almost 2 full years now, 3 years.
Yeah,
I mean, like there's no reason why you couldn't have gotten on that website and gotten together with those people that have already been doing it for years.
Yeah, you probably could. Like I said, and obviously you said that there's a lot of people that kind of want to do their own thing and do their own promotion or whatever.
And that's what's hurting us. Those, we need to work together, people. Come on.
Well, you also have to understand, and this is not just on this particular one, but it wasn't until I want to say last Wednesday or Thursday that I saw Gun Owners of America put something out about the rallies, but I never saw NRA. Or I don't even think I saw Second Amendment Foundation put anything out. I saw Gun Owners of America, but it wasn't until like Thursday or something. So I think that the bigger organizations need to get involved as well, and maybe not take it over, but at least promote it. And now this one, at least I don't know in Arkansas, I think nationally it was tried to be. It was called the National Constitutional Coalition of Patriotic Americans. That's a mouthful.
Seriously.
In Arkansas, we had a Facebook page called Americans for America, and I don't know if that was like a local thing or what, but that's who was kind of the page on Facebook for the Arkansas rally was Americans for America and dash Arkansas. And some cool people got to meet them Saturday, and I was thankful for them to allow me to speak. That was kind of a cool thing. I did a quick one. We had a guy, unfortunately, God bless his heart, spoke right, but a couple of people before me, and he went on for about half an hour, and he was talking about the Christian side of firearms and the evangelical stuff about it. And unfortunately, people were leaving. People were bored after about 5 minutes, so I knew that my time was coming up, and a couple things. I talked to the guy. He says, "Yeah, you're gonna." Talking to a couple people. So I said, I'm going to keep mine under like 3 or 4 minutes. So, so I don't want anyone to fall asleep and leave and all that. But there were some people that left. And I think it was just one of those things where I don't think it was a time or the place to do that. It was a time or place to get people rallied, to people get into a consistent message, not talk things that really had nothing to do with firearms. But that's just me. It was his opportunity to talk. And
we got to be inclusive as well as patient, right? So you not tolerate everything that somebody says, and like, okay, how important is the Second Amendment? Because we don't all agree on everything. We all agree on the Second Amendment. If somebody wants to take a breath or two to talk about something else that they're passionate about, how tolerant are we going to be to that? And are we going to draw the line and be like, okay, I'm leaving? I mean, that's seems like cutting off your nose to spite your face, throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Well, like I said, and it wasn't this guy's fault that people left. I think people might have possibly gotten a little bored after 30 minutes. But still, like I said, the people that did leave, it didn't look good that people were leaving, because they didn't like, we had a guy, there was a couple of news stations there. There was a couple of local news channels that were there covering it, at least for like the first 20, 30 minutes, and then they left as well. So unfortunately, by the time I got home, that the local news that night had already run. So I have to go back online and kind of look. I want to see. I'm interested to see what their coverage of it was and how they spun it. So I'll have to go back and look at that. But Clover, was there anything? I know that you had other stuff going on Saturday, but have you heard anything about Texas, about how it went?
Well, just what I've seen and I've read. There was more people than there were in November, and some people on the rally page were discouraged, like you always hear. It seems like it's never enough, right? No matter how many people are there. And I think they get hung up on that. And I was like, look, the pictures I've seen and the videos and the other stuff was, more than we had in November. We're moving forward here. Don't get discouraged. We just got to keep it up.
Yeah. We had an interesting, I would call it an eclectic group of people at our rally. Friday afternoon, a bunch of us got a message that said that the Capitol Police and the I want to say it was the Secretary of State's office said that they were going to allow people to carry firearms on the Capitol grounds as long as they were unloaded. Which a lot of people says, well, then that's just stupid. That's not carrying. And a lot of people are saying, well, I'm going to carry my AR-15 even if it's unloaded, just to make a point. And I did. I carried my gun, but I have an enhanced carry, so I could actually carry it loaded. So thank goodness I could do that. But a lot of people were there. I saw, like I said, we had some interesting, different types of people. There were people that were all tacked up. Had one guy with his cammyed his face up, and he was gung ho about it. Had crossed ARs on his back, and he was enjoying the festivities. You had some people that were just there. William Stanley, I think William, he's still out there. He said he watched the news that night. It lasted about a minute and a half. William is from Arkansas, and I got to meet William Saturday at the rally, so that was pretty cool. And the running joke is we were meeting, and by the time I was doing an interview, the wind was blowing so hard, William actually was holding my camera and tripod so it wouldn't blow over. And so not only did we meet, but I put him to work immediately. So I like to take my viewers and supporters and put them to work. So, but it was great meeting you, William. And so that was really fun. But yeah, we had a really cool group. We had some people talking, and we had one guy that started off the chat, the talk that was very raw-ish, an older gentleman that the news cameras loved, and I'm interested to see how they how they portrayed him on the TV. Now, Cycle Camp out there saying up in Connecticut, he said they had like 1,500 people, depending on who was reporting. That's an incredible turnout up in Connecticut. So whatever you guys are doing up there, that probably needs to be the model of how to get stuff done, because 1,500 people is pretty good. His local right, CCDL, sponsored it before the other group even tried to make it happen. 30,000 members now. Oh, that's awesome.
I'm
Carolina,
putting up links.
Email, bro. I got your email, so no worries. But I did get your email.
I'm putting up links to this website called gunpoliticsnewyork.com.
What's that now?
I'm putting up links to this site called gunpoliticsnewyork.com. Yeah. Problem with the website.
Speaking
it's not
of
loading
air
for me
guns,
because my computer's slowing up.
Yeah. Speaking of air
you
guns,
can read some of the bad things going on.
Anything that in particular happened with an air gun with you? No, I'm just joking. But I know you got a hold of a 22-45 today, did you not?
About me? Yeah.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah. What all did you get?
I was just the Ruger Mark 4 22-45.
There you go.
So,
speaking of which, I want to send a quick shout out to Garage Guns and Coy. Coy sent me. I got home last night and there was a box of ammunition on my front door. He sent me some ammo.
Awesome.
So, Garage Gun, Coy, thank you so much, bro. And
looks like he meant to address that to me, and my address is on.
Oh, as that was, I'll forward it on to you. They might be empty boxes when you get them. That's okay.
That'll be easier to ship, I guess, so I can understand.
That'll be cheaper, that's for sure.
One of the things on this gunpoliticsnewyork.com, one of the more recent posts is a gun buyback in Rockland County.
A mandatory or?
Well, read the article. I was trying to open it up, but my computer is like super hot right now, so it's lagging on everything.
All right, let me pull it up real quick and I'll see what we got here.
If you can open it up, that'd be great.
I got it. Let's see.
New York is coming up with something literally every day because the AG is such a piece of shit, just like the governor. Excuse my friend.
Gun owners have to recertify rifles under the SAFE Act.
Yeah, that's another story. Yeah.
They're
making them, they already made them do that like last year or the year before that, and now they're making them do that again with the recent law that they passed a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I did hear something about this. The pediatricians are fighting for gun control. What's that all about?
Oh, no. Wacky doctors, the psychologists and psychiatrists in New York.
This says pediatric doctors.
Yes. They're trying to make gun control permanent from when you're a baby.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I started to read it and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna shut this down before I tear my computer apart.
Yeah, I'll read this later. I don't even want to get into this right now. Grim or Dano, anything up in Illinois that happened with the rallies that you guys have heard?
Grim, are you there? This is seeing if he's back.
I think he's with his kids, so you might have to be the Illinois.
Right. That's right. The one this past Saturday, I did not attend. In Illinois, we have an annual event sponsored by the Illinois State Rifle Association, and that is coming up on the 25th of this month. And what we do is we get together, and then the state House and the state Senate shuts down business for the day, and they go to their offices. And no, they don't hide, and they make themselves available for us to come and address our grievances with each of our representatives and our senators. And they block open the entire day to ask them any questions or make any statements that we want to make. And so everybody goes to their own representative at the state level, both in the House as well as the state. And of course, some of them, kind of run and hide, but there's no, but they have to stay into the building because it's an agreed upon thing. And that is on the 25th of this month, which I believe is a week from Wednesday. or a week from tomorrow, excuse me, which is Wednesday, I guess. And that's an annual event that they've been holding for a number of years. And that's the one that I normally attend.
How many people usually show up for that? You know,
usually several thousand. It does vary from year to year.
Right.
Before we had concealed carry that particular year, it didn't come across until I want to say June that we actually got it. But in April of that year, we had over 5,000 people, which is just a drop in the bucket when you have over 5.5 million people in one county alone. That 5,000 people is still not enough as compared to what the actual gun ownership is. But still, looking back, is whether it's 5,000 people or like last November, where there were very few of us that attended, the point is to continue to push, whether it's 5 or 5,000. So that's what I try to focus on. So hopefully, I was going to try to talk to Grandma Affairs to make an arrangement.
That's all. That's awesome. I wish we would get some stuff done. We still go speak to representatives. Maybe it works. I mean, I don't know if these people just have the meetings and then basically forget what the constituents are telling them. But maybe that's the way to change some minds over there. I don't know.
It's difficult to say because it did take legal action in the courts to get them to change their minds.
Yeah. John, did you want to take the second station break? Is that what you wanted to do?
Absolutely. The 288 Capitol rallies have been ongoing this past week and have had some really good turnouts, but like anything else, there is always room for improvement with the current state of affairs in this country. We want to remind you to go ahead and keep supporting and holding these rallies, whether they are on the federal, state, or local level, wherever you are. Don't forget the Facebook 288 Capitol Rally page and keep abreast of current news as well as current legislation. Keep spreading the word about rallies and current events to as many people as you can. And remember, we need to remain on the offensive, be vigilant in our fight, and make sure that any opposition is met with peaceful, intelligent, and factual responses.
That's awesome. Appreciate you, John. William Stanley out there saying, does anybody know or have they heard the grand total of how many people went to the rallies in all states? I have not heard. I don't know if there's any way to kind of gather that without just guesstimating, but I have not heard anyone come out with even a guesstimate number. Tack out there says, wait, was there a turnout anywhere that was larger than the norm? Yeah, Connecticut had 1,500. Arkansas, we had close to 200 people there, and which I thought was maybe not enough, but it was much better than what happened last November. So it was definitely, if the norm was last November, then we had much more than the norm. I thought we probably could have gotten more, but we got a couple hundred, so I was okay. All right, we got a question for the panel. Excuse me, panel. He says, what would you choose between a 308 10-shot pistol carbine, a 12-gauge double barrel, a 357 6-shoot, an AK, if all are the same price category? That's a really good question. Let's go through the panel with this before we go into our next topic. Ellis, what do you say about that? You need me to read them out again?
Yeah, please.
All right, a 308 10-shot pistol carbine, a 12-gauge double barrel. Oh, let me go back up. 357 6-shoot, or an AK, if they're all the same price.
Man, talk about putting somebody against the wall here.
Absolutely. That is a good question.
Yeah, it is a very good question. I'll have to go with the AK.
Okay.
Because I don't own one.
Right. No, I hear you. Dano, what do you say about that?
I would clearly go with the AK.
Okay. Any reason why, or just because you like AKs?
I like the round in general, and the 308 pistol caliber carbine kind of confused me as far as what they were referring to there.
It is to me too, but it would be pretty awesome if it's a real thing.
I came in after you left because I sit down to eat.
She said she was hungry.
Whoa.
I love it. I love it. He didn't have a clue that he was live.
Yeah, bet he knows now.
He's getting pissed off at home. I love it. All right. The 7.62 by 39 rounds, great. John, I know this is all hypothetical, especially in your case, but what would you choose?
Thanks for making me cry, and I will take the double barrel.
I had to do it.
Yeah, I'll take the double barrel.
The double barrel 12 gauge. All right. That's not a bad, What do you got? I think I know what you're going.
Number one, they're all the same price point, so it's got to be $650 because there's no. I don't even know how you get a double barrel 12 gauge to be $650. I could see a 10-shot 308 pistol, I guess, being that cheap, and I could see a revolver, and I guess I could see an AK around there, right? So,
yeah.
If that's the case, then the 357, because that's the cheap bargain basement AK. It's probably not good. I don't know how you're getting a $600 double barrel shotgun, but stay away from that. Run from that, and then 308.
This is why you get 2 shotguns.
Yeah, that should be 3 or 4 shotguns, and nobody wants any shotguns, so stay away from shotguns. And a 308 pistol is just going to beat itself apart. So why are you going to buy something to intentionally beat itself apart? So 357.
I am intrigued by a 308 pistol carbine. That would be an interesting.
I mean, you could build it, but should you? And is it going to last? I mean, no. 308 barely lasts in an aluminum gun as it is, right? Why would you put it in a carbine?
Yeah. My wrist hurts just thinking about it.
But a
that would definitely beat you up.
It's more than a Taurus or something garbage, right? That would be like a $300 revolver. So I'm thinking $600 revolver might actually be a Smith or something that'll actually last.
Yeah.
Well, if you have 4 shotguns and 1 breaks on you, you have a really solid bat.
You're in. You should never get yourself in a position where you have 4 shotguns.
You have to understand that his gun knowledge and gun experience is limited up in New York, so he doesn't really know what he's talking about.
Well, he does have some experience in
experience.
Oklahoma.
Huh? What'd you say, G?
I said he's got a portion of a 1911. I don't know what Dano said.
He does. He does have.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I throw that, but now I have nothing. If I have 4 shotguns, at least if I throw one, I'll have 3 more.
How is the old Block 18 doing?
Oh, it's awesome. I'm gonna have to have hip surgery soon, but it's awesome.
Grim, are you done getting your ass beat by the wife? Can you talk now, or we have to get permission?
I think I can now. We're like, everybody got home from baseball, and it's a madhouse. That's what. And thanks, Dano, for covering the iGold in Illinois gun owners day there. So I don't know. I think it'd have to be the AK or the 357. Yeah. I agree with Dano. I think my wrist would break if I tried a 308 pistol carbine.
Pistol would be crazy.
I mean, it'd be cool, but yeah, probably the AK.
Would it? I mean, it'd be cool to look. I don't know if I'd want to shoot it or not. I really don't.
Not shoot it. I mean, cool to have it. I don't know about shooting.
I'd like to shoot at least once just to find out how bad it kicked my ass. But, but yeah.
I need another wrist surgery.
No kidding. Clover, what say you?
Well, when we're talking shotguns, if we're talking a really nice coach gun, especially external hammer, or over under, because all he said was double barrel, so we don't really know.
He said double barrel, yeah.
Either way, there's cheap knockoff stuff, but I mean, really nice coach guns are going to run more than that, and anything remotely decent, far more than that price range on an over under. So definitely within that range. It kind of makes me wonder what he's thinking. That said, I probably go 357.
I love the 357 round. For my choice, I go AK though. I love the AK platform, and with a 357 with a 7.62 by 39 round. Well, even if it's I'm gonna say AK-47. If it's 74, the 5.45 round, either way. Of that, I'd say the 357 for sure. If it's AK-47, I would take that over just because I love the AK platform, but I'm also thinking capacity is going to be something that I would much over a 6-shooter. I'll definitely say the AK over that. So my pick would be the AK. My second place would be the 357. I'd probably go with the 308 third, and I'm just not a big double barrel shotgun guy, so I'd probably put that in. Now, if it's the only thing I could get, then obviously I'm not going to turn anything down, but if I have my choice, I'd probably put the 12 gauge in fourth place.
I'm going to turn it down, even if there's nothing else. I'm going to be like, nope.
You're going to turn it down no matter what, huh?
Good. I'll take yours as well.
Let's see here. Let's see what anybody else is saying here. Most unders cost. Yeah, Richard's saying the same thing. Clover says over unders. Most of them cost well over $600. Let's see here. Black Cat RL says he's got to go to work. You be safe out there, brother. Hope everything works out for you. Yeah, so that's a cool question and all that. But I like questions like that, especially when you get to go through the panel, because everybody may have a little different reasoning as to why. We might all pick similar guns, but our reasoning very well could be much different. So Rich said that he'd shoot the 308 pistol. He already needs elbow surgery, so might as well get the whole arm operated on. So, and Tack Daddy says the AK. So let's see here. Vanessa says 12 gauge, the 629, 357 mag. Guitar Man Pete says Sig brace that 308. You could do that if you're talking pistol caliber carbine. Actually, it's not a pistol caliber carbine, it's just a carbine. Is that pretty much an AR-10 pistol, wouldn't it be? Roughly? Something like that. All right, so let's see here. Coonan. Vanessa loves her Coon. So I'm kind of jealous. He said, Cycle Camp got his dad a Fury CF1 K77X at Cabela's when they had them on sale, and modified the trigger to be softer, added a nice 22 scope. He laced the squirrels with that out back the window. I am not very familiar with a lot of 22 stuff, but I would imagine Clover could probably give some insight. Is that a pretty good gun there? He might not be listening anymore. Hell, I don't even know if anyone's out there listening. So we'll go on.
I'm here. I was muted. He's talking about a air rifle.
Oh, okay.
Crossman Fury.
I didn't see the previous discussion, so I didn't really know what was going on.
I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. Is the Crossman Fury, and yeah, they're pretty awesome rifles. Yeah.
Alaskan asks, who has a Brace 1022 Charger? Not me. Night Wolf, what's going on, my man? Welcome. All right, guys, so we're going to get in here. It's already 8 o'clock, so we're not going to talk a whole lot on this. We'll maybe come back and do part 2 next week. But I do want to get into a little bit on the responsibility of gun owners. And like I said, saw some things over at the rallies, and I think it's something that we need to have a discussion with. Just because I think that we all have lost touch maybe of what our responsibility is, not only with while carrying, but out in public when we talk about our guns and all of that. I think a lot of us have become so comfortable either with our guns or talking gun stuff that sometimes we kind of get complacent and kind of forget sometimes we actually do have responsibilities as gun owners. And for some of us, we live in kind of smaller towns that we kind of are known as the gun guys maybe, and people come up and ask us and talk to us about guns and what we have a responsibility to do there. Talking about maybe responsibilities as recommending guns, responsibilities of getting more new shooters to go shoot at ranges, all sorts of good stuff. Carolina Boy has sent me an email, and he was talking about that he actually got a couple people that were quote-unquote anti-gunners before to the range. And we were talking about if you can get them to the range and see their face light up, and maybe they'll change their minds a little bit. And he got a couple of them out to the range, and they enjoyed it. And he's going to go with them pretty soon to go buy their first guns. And I think that's amazing. I think that's awesome. He was praising all of us here that have shows that kept on saying, try to get new people. He said he wouldn't have had the confidence to do that for a lot. So kudos to everybody who's been talking about that. But the fact that he did that and now they're going to go buy their first guns, I think that's part of the responsibility. We try to continuously try to get new shooters into the community. And when you do go, they do go to their first firearm, give them solid advice. Are there any things that we want to talk about as far as what you think those responsibilities that maybe we have been lacking in or have forgotten over the years? Anything about gun safety and all that. Let's start backwards. Let's go with Clover this time.
Oh, you're going to pick on me?
I'm going to pick on you.
Just because I told you a story.
You probably got a really good answer for us.
Because I told you a story earlier.
I did. Yeah, that's exactly why. I think it'd be a good story to listen to.
Well, I mean, we all slip up, so it happens.
It is what it is.
You know, we get so comfortable with things, especially because I was in a local gun shop earlier, and especially when you're in there and you're comfortable, you know, all the people there, they're all friends. You know that nothing. I mean, you know that nothing is loaded, right? But I mean, you need to clear and verify and check, and you need to go through all those motions before you pick up and just start flagging people. And I caught myself doing it earlier. You know, I flagged the owner and the gal works behind the counter. They never said anything to me. You know, I'm the one that pointed it out. I said, "Holy crap!" You know, I'm flagging everybody in the place. You know, and they just kind of chuckled. You know, and but. Yeah, I mean, we need to stay vigilant with all of that. Definitely. Of course, my finger wasn't on the trigger. That's why you have the 3 rules of safety: muzzle, action, trigger. And as long as you have any one of those 3, you're going to avoid anything catastrophic, pretty much. So, and my finger wasn't on the trigger. I should have had a little better muzzle discipline, but brain fart at the time, whatever. Yeah, and then turned right around and picked up an air pistol, knowing better. Knowing not to dry fire an air pistol, and a $1,500 air pistol at that, and cocked that dude back, and it had such a light trigger that I set the trigger off just raising it up, you know. And everybody in the place freaked out.
Did he know?
Oh, there was just you could hear it because it was quiet in there, and I mean it was gasps. It was just like you did. And I'm like, oh crap! I'm like, you got any pellets? He's like, yeah. It's like, well, give me some pellets. Let me go outside and let me make sure I didn't tear it up. I did. I'll buy new seals and whatever for it. You know,
it was all good.
But yeah, it was all good. So I mean, yeah. And I've had stupid moments. I mean, when you're out and you're in private, you know, it's especially dangerous. You really got to be careful with that because, you're out and there's nobody else on the range with you. You're by yourself. And so I don't know, there's something about having people around you. A lot of times it really helps with that awareness of what you're doing. And I catch myself, I don't want to say unsafe because it's not unsafe. There's varying components to me, varying degrees of safety. But I mean, in a very basic sense, when I'm out on the range, sometimes I catch myself being unsafe. It happens. So, but we're talking more about in public, and I mean, I think we need to be fairly well spoken. I think we need to be, more Clark Kent than Superman when we're in public. We need to be mild mannered, more or less. It's real easy to stick that chest out and throw your hands on your hips. You know what I mean? And just kind of look down on everybody and I don't know, be aggressive. And I don't know. I just think when you do that mild manner approach, I think it's a little better. It's received, I should say, a little better.
Yeah, I think that if you start out with an aggressive attack, whether it's just loud voice or up in their face, whatever, before they even listen to your words, they're turned off.
Well, and even I'm not talking about
listen to your words at that point,
and I'm not even speaking to talking to an anti-gunner, but you're out in town and somebody that's obviously they own firearms, they shoot, they whatever, and they just ask you a question about how do you like this this pistol or rifle, or I'm looking at buying this, and this. What do you think? And having a real arrogant attitude, know-it-all attitude about it. And there's guys out there that are that way. We've all talked to them before. And I just think that the majority of people are going to blow that advice, that guidance and everything. They're going to blow it off if it's coming from an arrogant place. So be humble.
Yeah, I like that's a good one. Because there's a lot of people that are asking you a question. They obviously think that you might have an answer, and if you have that arrogant, you're gonna sit there and say, "Well, I mean, even if he's right, So I like that mild-mannered, stay kind of in the shadows. Be able and be willing to talk about firearms, but it's not always the best time or best place to go try to start a conversation just out of the blue with somebody. So stay in the shadows a little bit. Grim, what you got? Is there anything that you think that we could do better?
Well, Clover was hitting on it. So were you. Is like the way we speak sometimes. That, and sometimes it's not that you're attempting to be arrogant, but you're overwhelming anyone new, or whether it's someone new at the range, a newbie, or newer. I shouldn't say newbie. But, when someone newer, or, you just turn them off. Just, I guess we got to think before we speak sometimes. And I'm not saying not to refrain from what you're going to say, but in the manner we say it. Like, I know any of us here, if anyone comes out arrogant, it's like, yeah, well, that's nice. And you can kick down the road, But right, exactly. I think that's one of the things. And then, just taking, if you do got someone interested, like the guy I took out to the range, a month and a half ago, he just bought a Ruger GP 100 or something. I can't remember what he bought. He actually came by to show me on the way home. And it was that. He's like, I let him shoot, and it was this, like Clover said, it was just the safety things. Dude, just keep it down range. Just, and he's like, man, I've tried to go with other people, and they just, yell and scream. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I was a little worried at times, but, I mean, just keeping that mild manner, I guess. I don't know how to really explain it, but, like that. Just don't turn them off, especially the ones that are possibly, were getting into pro gun, or at least that middle ground, I guess.
Well, and I'll take that even a step further real quick is if you are at a range or someone, you've got, not necessarily a newbie, but a newer shooter, and they're at the range, and they're maybe asking you for some help. The last thing, and this kind of goes in what you're saying, is don't overwhelm them with information. If it's at the range or just out in town talking about guns and all that, if there's someone new asking a question, answer their question as quickly as you can and as briefly as you can, because if you start throwing out all these stats and all this stuff, they're gonna be like, okay, I didn't ask that question, and I don't have 25 minutes, So I think you're right. Be direct, be succinct in your answers. If you're at the range and someone asks you a question, help them, show them the right way, but don't go into a tactical lesson with them and just, we sit there for 2 hours and they shoot 5 rounds. No, get them shooting, but make sure they're doing it safely.
Yeah, what were you saying? Exactly. No, exactly that. And that's the other thing, I guess, is not trying to overwhelm them with the nomenclature. All the, you start doing that, and it's like that big vocabulary for them. And not that you want to, like you said, you just want to get them shooting, get them interested. You can learn all the little nuances and what the different part is actually named, later.
Yeah, and like you said, also is, a lot of these people don't understand the difference in calibers. So don't try to break down each caliber and all that. Ask them what they're looking for. If they're asking you which gun to buy, ask them what they're looking to use it for. Is it self-defense? Is it home defense? Is it a truck gun? Is it for sport? What is it exactly they're trying to do? Because you don't want to give them the wrong caliber, but they might not even know what a caliber is. They might not even understand the difference between, a 380 and a 45. They may not know any of that stuff. So, just kind of break them into it easily, because you don't want them to leave and not understand it. This guy just not answering my question. He's giving me all these stats and all that. So I like that. I like that a lot.
Rich out there is mentioned in the follow-up Crowder video. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but yeah, it's worth going and watching. He actually took two of the girls. He took two of the girls that he sat down with for Change My Mind on about gun control to the range, and they weren't old enough to buy handguns. But they were like wanting to buy handguns by the time it was over with.
I love it.
But of course, they weren't old enough, so. He told them, when they turn 21 or whatever, to get in touch with his producer or whatever, and then make it happen. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I highly suggest going and watching it.
Yeah, I have not seen it. If it came out the last couple of days, I have been oblivious to the world the last couple of days. I've been a little busy at work, but I will definitely go check that out. G, anything that you have noticed or have seen recently that you think that we could do a better job at in the gun community?
So that's pretty general. I guess I missed the original question in regards to.
I was on the responsibilities, whether it's at the range or talking to people about firearms, but how we handle our guns, whether it's carrying, anything that, people kind of get lazy. We get so used to either carrying our guns or shooting our guns or handling our guns or talking guns that maybe we become complacent and we kind of forget that we have responsibilities as gun owners, whether it's to other gun owners to protect the safety of others, or to new people that are thinking about becoming gun owners. We have certain responsibilities that I think that sometimes we forget. And I didn't know if you had anything in particular you wanted to talk about.
I like to quiz them on nomenclature right off the bat, and then get really in their face and yell and scream if they don't know like the accurate terms for everything. I'm afraid I'm repeating what these guys have already said.
Yeah. Oh, good.
I don't know. I guess after going to Tulsa and just I try to be a fly on the wall, right? We had a lot of cameras there, and we were trying to impress the show and just hopefully the community, right? Bring the show to the internet in a different way. Yeah. So just trying to keep that in mind as I walked around. I think I had my ears open a little bit more than I have in the past, where when we're just there for ourselves, taking our own pictures, like we did last time around, I was looking for what's a good picture, what's an interesting picture, and that kind of thing. This time I was thinking more about what can we do, and I guess that made me listen to some of the conversations more. I walked more slowly around, and I think as gun owners, we're fine with safety. There's no reason to berate ourselves. I mean, we should keep task on it. It's important. And we do deal with dangerous items, but no more dangerous than other things in life. And we do an excellent job. Accident rates are going down to prove that we teach our kids and we teach each other safety. But I think what we have to be vigilant about is just advocacy. We take it for granted, and a lot of the conversations there were about specifics or about technical, or we're about just casual stuff. And I'd like to hear, even in a time of where we're not under attack, I'd like to hear a good 20% of the conversation be about awareness, if nothing else, if not advocacy towards Second Amendment issues. But right now we're under attack. And that's where I'm actually, I don't want to raise an alarm, but I kind of want to raise an alarm. Like, we should actually be more worried about this than we are. Because if we can casually allow them to compromise the bump stocks away, and casually allow them to compromise the age of buying a firearm or rifle to 21, that should be a line in the sand that we will not cross. I mean, how many times do we have to use the analogy of the cake? They just took a big sloppy bite out of the cake we have left, and we just sat there and watched them. We didn't do a darn thing. So I just walked around 4,000 tables. Is it 40,000 attendees? Did we get a number?
I heard a number of 50, but man, who knows? But it was a lot of people.
Tens of thousands of attendees, and very little urgency, very little awareness at all. So I think as gun owners, we do great at knowing our trade and our craft and our tech and our safety and our all that. But even just bringing new people into the fold, I think we do good at that. But we're not vigilant enough. We need to be more active and that kind of thing. I know I'm preaching the choir here, but you asked me a question. That's
no. But this is what we're talking about, because there are people that might be watching that, like I said, we all slip up and we all kind of get lazy sometimes, and we all kind of forget and we get comfortable in what we're doing, and we get tired sometimes. We're our lives take over, and we kind of get lazy and forget some of the responsibilities that we have. And it's not just on the safety side of it. It's not just on the advocacy side. It's the whole thing. You know, we have to kind of stay sharp, especially right now. And I think exactly what you're saying is we are under attack. And I think Brainstorm Pro out there said this is the biggest attack he's ever seen. And Cycle Camp says he supports a 2A by buying lots of guns and ammo. And I can personally verify that that is a true statement. Cycle Camp buys a lot of guns and a lot of ammo, but he's also he will spend hours upon hours at his state capitol and the state Congress proceedings and all of that. And he will testify, he will watch, and he will hold his representatives accountable if he sees them doing something or saying something wrong. So Cycle Camp is one of the poster boys for fighting the good fight up there in Connecticut for sure. Sorry about that. Brainstorm says people got complacent, and I think we've talked about that time and time again over the last year and a half since Trump won the election. We have become complacent in certain aspects. And even though I would like to think that most of us in this room and in this chat stay pretty vigilant most of the time, it is easy to sometimes forget and get lazy and say, I can take the day off. I can take this day off. And 2 days become 3 days, and 3 days become 4 days. Next thing you know, you've kind of forgotten what the fight was about. So, yeah, you're right about that. John, you know, I would like to hear your perspective from New York, just because there are actually pro-gun people in New York. And, you know, to what extent can you guys get out and do things both on the activist side, shooting side and all that? But, you know, I would say that maybe the pro-gun people in New York have a greater responsibility than most of us, like Chicago and LA and New York, you know, because they're surrounded by quote-unquote anti-gunners, but you guys might have a bigger responsibility than ever to kind of break that mold and show them that guns aren't, you know, this dangerous weapon that it's a weapon of war and all that. What do you see up there in New York?
Well, I'm basically just building on what most of you said already. Raphael says on the gun channel side, safety is everyone's concern. Yep. Whoever is around, even if the kid's saying something, it is something to be listened to. So that brings me back to the Louder with Crowder video, and I'm watching these two girls, and they're muzzling the camera guy, and they're muzzling each other, and I'm like, oh boy. And that's why I keep reiterating, no matter how much you think you know, if someone tells you, like with you guys when I was at the range, and because I'm not as proficient with a lot of guns as you guys are, I had guys when I was getting up there handling the firearm, hands off the finger off the trigger, and I didn't argue with them because to me repetition is very important when it comes to these things. And so no matter how much someone thinks they know, or no matter how just be down to earth and just accept it, because safety is very important. And it should be repetitious, you know.
Yeah. No,
don't fight. It comes back down to repeating things. Like with this one organization in New York that had this little rally, a couple hundred people. Come on, that's BS. Couple hundred people need to get together and making up their own little organization, and I'm just like, come on, that's a joke for New York. There should have been like 5,000 people there.
Mm-hmm. But on the optimistic side of things is at least there are 200 people in New York that figured that it was worth their time to try to fight the good fight. So maybe it's a start. It's a small start for New York, but maybe it's a step in the right direction.
I never even heard of that organization.
That might be the biggest problem.
I mean, come on. Everybody wants to make their own little organization. You're going to have 10,000 organizations, and each one's going to have 200 people. Come on.
Well, that's the whole thing.
I looked on Facebook. I didn't even see it. I looked on Facebook. I didn't even see it. Huh?
So that's the problem we've seen in November and now is a lot of these organizations won't get involved with the rallies because it's not their idea. They don't want to promote somebody else's organization. And I think that
did we come together and have? Did we come together and have? Did we come together and have one country, or did we have 13 colonies?
Exactly.
13 states. Yep. Now we have 50 states that are doing it their way because that region works better that way, and those states work together. But let's not discourage people building groups, because the building of the group is sometimes, well, it always involves different elements, different, people in the group. So they're going to bring different resources to the group. So that's a whole bunch of potential successes there. Also a whole bunch of potential failures we can all learn from. So sure. I don't think it's bad to have many groups, but I think what John's frustration is those groups didn't learn to work together. So maybe that's what we need to do, is just focus on working together as opposed to worrying about who created it and when and all that stuff.
And see, that was
who cares what name is on the banner? Who cares what name is on the banner as long as everybody's there?
We'll see. And that was going to be my point when it comes to the media side of the gun community. Was I think that we've been talking about this for a while, whether it's YouTube channels or organizations or whatever it is, putting ego and pride aside and saying, well, just because I didn't come up with it, I'm not going to support it. I think that it's one of those things that we all, like you said, need to come together as one community and let bygones be bygones and say, I might not like this organization, I might not like this guy, but, eventually we need to get arm in arm, and, a chain link fence is much stronger than a rope fence because you've got a bunch of them that are holding arms together and all that. I will say that going to your point, G, going to far as the 13 colonies coming in, and I would say these different organizations might have different points of view, but I'd say that might be a good thing. Not only are you going to have some good ideas, but not one organization or not one person has all the right answers. They might have a lot of good ideas, but a collective group, when you're hearing points and ideas from so many different people, well, eventually you're going to say, man, I never even thought about that. And yeah, that would be a really good idea. Or you know what? My idea wasn't as good as that idea. And now you start brainstorming as a collective group, and then you can really come across as a really solid message or an organization, or like in, the colonies, a country, because you are passing off ideas on each other and you're finding out what are good ideas. And there are things that people that think differently that might have an idea that you never would have thought of. And that's what we're talking about, is especially in the gun community, when we're talking about our rights and becoming a stronger voice, is one that I think that is the best thing we can do, is the more people we can get involved and for the different points of view is better, because not all of us have to think the same, but together we're going to be a whole lot stronger than we are as a million individuals. So good points on that. Dano, what you got? Is there anything that you have seen that you wish the gun community could do better? Or, we've kind of talked on the safety side, we talked on the discussion side and the media side, but is there anything else that you think that we might have gotten lazy with in the gun community that we maybe need to remember that we need to be more responsible in?
Well, first, let me state that I don't hear anything I disagree with. In fact, everything I've heard, I pretty much agree with up and down the line. But something that, I'm not sure if this is maybe a topic for another day or not, but something you had mentioned, Ghost, earlier on is, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, is
yeah, sure.
Several rallies that I've been to, in fact, most of the rallies, there has a tendency sometimes to be that one or two, it's usually guys,
Yep.
that will have a tendency to interrupt the speaker with, John and a quote from the Bible, or just something. And I'm going to call it policing ourselves and the image that cameras may catch. And it's a very dangerous line to draw, because where does it begin and where does it end? And then whose responsibility is it? And I don't have the answer. I'm just posing that issue, that if it happens in my state, and I've seen it happen more than once, it probably happens in other states.
Oh yeah. It is going to happen, and you're always going to have that one or two people, and it's okay. Would you rather it not happen? Probably. you want to give them their time, and you want, like I said, anytime that you can be respectful to your other citizens, whether you agree with what they're saying or what they're doing, interrupting or whatever, you try to give them the respect, because that you can't ask for respect if you don't give respect. Does that make sense? But I know what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have those people, and rallies are interesting things, because you have different people from a lot of different walks of life. You have a lot of people that are coming to a rally, and for the most part, we have them. And I think, Danny, you'd agree that 98% of them are coming there with a common goal and a common message, a common theme. That, in this case, that 98% of them, maybe even 99% of them, are gun people. They're gun guys, or gun gals, or gun owners. They're pro two-way, they're pro Second Amendment, they're pro gun. But we all have different vocabularies. We all have different ways of expressing ourselves. And it comes down to the same guy I was talking about earlier. We have this guy that's fully tacked out, absolutely tacked out, with the vest, with the level 4 armor, and his face all camied up. And I mean, you look at the guy and you're like, really, dude? But that's how he chooses to express himself. And that's the visual that he wants people to associate with him. And that's okay. Would I do that? Heck no.
Yeah. I'm more referring to what I'll call the interrupters.
I understand what you're saying, the interrupters,
and they're typically saying, you if you want to speak in front of the audience, you can, but you have to wait your turn.
Yeah.
And some people just have a difficult time waiting for their turn.
Well, and a lot of people, and even more so, sometimes they don't even want to really speak. They don't want to be up on stage or up on the steps. They don't want to be in the limelight. For them, it's easier to. I'm not going to call them heckle, because I don't think that we're heckling. That they're heckling people, but I don't think they want to be in the limelight. But they feel more comfortable in the crowd, shouting those little slogans and all that, interrupting. So I mean, I know what you're saying, but there are people are also, we have people that are going to be up there in weird clothing. And I think that we talked about this in November. There's not one little dress code. Do you want to wear a suit and tie? Some people would. Do you want to come out with your level 3, level 4 armor and all of that stuff? Some people do. This guy had crossed ARs. I mean, he was the poster boy of the gun guy, but he also was looked at, I would say, comically from other people, but that's how he chose to express himself, and he wanted everyone to make sure that they saw him, and that's okay. I think the news camera probably saw him. It was great, but like I said, we have to respect everyone's wishes and everyone's way to expression, even if you're not going to want to stand up front in the stage and give a speech, and you rather heckle from the crowd. Like I said, as long as they're not being disrespectful, they're not calling people names, or just being that guy, I mean, at least they're saying something. But there comes a point, though, when they're disrespectful, or they're trying to demean the person that is up there speaking, or they're trying to contradict everything that person is saying. They can become a nuisance at that point. But we actually didn't have anyone this time at our rallies. That we had people that were, giving little slogans out there, but they weren't doing it to interrupt. They were doing it to kind of carry on the voice of the movement. But I know it's exactly what you're saying, Dano. Ellis, I think one of the biggest responsibilities that we have in a gun community is to keep you away from guns. So that's the responsibility that South Carolinians have, is to make sure that you are never allowed to have a gun anymore.
Well, nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Maybe a water gun. Maybe.
Oh, the baby Glock. He has the baby Glock.
Really?
That's the baby's baby Glock.
Nothing at all.
That's a magic bullet right there.
Nothing at all, huh?
Okay. You also look like you just woke up.
No, I just took a hat off. I just took the hat off. No, Ghost. You talk about all this and what can change. I think one of the biggest things that people in the gun community needs to understand is they don't know everything. There's always something out there that we don't know. You know, you got somebody new coming into the firearms world, you know, want the first gun. They ask you a certain question about a certain gun, and you half-ass answer them because you don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Now, take them to somebody that does. You know, there's always somebody out there that's going to know the answer to their question. And chances are one of us in this panel right now knows somebody that's going to know the answer to just about any question somebody could have about any particular firearm.
Sure.
So, you know, you go to these rallies, you go to these places, and you are asking you questions about guns. Well, you know, if you don't know the answer, don't give them a half-ass answer. Say, okay, I can't answer that question because I don't know the answer, but I know people who can answer that for you. I will give you their contact information. I will show you how to get in contact with them. You know, that's why GunChannels is such a blessing, because that is our source to say, okay, you have a question about a gun, I don't know the answer. Go to www.gunchannels.com and ask the question there. Somebody there will answer it because somebody there knows the answer.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point there, and I was thinking about this earlier, and I try to, you know, there are a lot of things about the guns that I don't know. I'm not really into revolvers a whole lot. I know a little bit about them, but when it comes to like old time bolt action rifles, you know, stuff that like Cycle Camp and all of them collect and all that, I don't know jack about those. I was never really big into the bolt action rifle scene, especially the older stuff. So when someone's going to ask me about all that stuff, now I can tell you a little bit about in generalities about the guns and the ammo and all of that stuff. But if you start talking about specifics on these rifles, I don't know. And I'm not going to, but I also know that I'm not going to know. And I think the problem that a lot of gun owners have, and I remember who brought it, maybe it was Clover, I'm not sure who it was, they talk about the arrogance and they want to be Mr. Know-It-All. If someone asks you a legitimate question and you don't know the answer, don't try to act like you do. That's the worst thing you can do, because you're going to give probably wrong information to somebody. And if they base their decision on a firearm based off your information they gave you, God help them, because we don't know what they're going to go get, and you know, you might have given them the wrong advice completely. So I try not to, and I think everyone in this panel in this chat is very, very good. You said stay purple and keep it moving. Yeah. There's a lot of people in this here that aren't going to try to act like they know everything about everything. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, I've been on Clover's chat before on Wednesday nights or something, and he's talking 22 stuff. I don't have a whole lot of experience with the 22. So I'll tell you, parts I really don't think I can bring a whole lot to this conversation. I'm here more to learn because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You know, when it comes to handguns, when it comes to gas carbines and all that, I can go with you all day long on that. You're talking old time bolt action or, you know, different stuff. I'm not that guy. And I don't try to act like I am. And I think you bring up a good point there, Ellis. There are a lot of people that try to be the expert and know it all for everything. And I think that that's a huge mistake, because if you don't know, it's okay to say you don't know. And it's okay to say that you don't have all the answers. But if you can point them in the direction of someone that might know, then that is a responsibility as well. As if you don't know the answer, then go find the answer, whether that's with you or somebody else. But that's a really good point, because I think a lot of people do. Dale out there says, are you kidding? He's an expert on everything. Don't believe me, just ask me. Exactly. But yeah, no, it's just one of those things where I think that is probably the biggest thing I've seen, is people trying to be too much of a know-it-all. What's that?
I said he must be Yankee's cousin.
You know, Yankee's crazy knowledgeable. And like you said, people on this panel that are crazy knowledgeable, and there are people that probably know a little bit about everything. I'm just not that guy, and it's okay. But I don't claim to be, and I don't try to be. I like learning as much as anything, and I love hearing Cycle Camp and all these guys talk about their old rifles, because that's just never something I've kind of gotten into. And it's awesome to listen to some of the history about these guns. And and all that stuff. And then you start talking about with Clover and all the competitive shooting he does with 22 and all that. That's fascinating to me because the 22 round has never been something that I've really gotten into. But I'm always looking to learn. But I think that's the responsibility also, is continue to learn, but don't pass yourself on as something that you're not, because you're just going to hurt that person if you're giving them the wrong information.
Let me ask you a question before you move on, guys.
Yeah.
Do you happen to own a bolt action rifle?
I own 2 of them because I inherited them from my grandfather. I have never bought a bolt action. I've got a 30-30 and a 30-06, but I didn't buy them. So I owned them, I guess, but I did not buy them. I've never bought a bolt action rifle. I
was just asking because I had the Godfather come down on me of that because I didn't own one.
Oh yeah, well
yeah. Like
I said, I like the gas operated stuff, but like I said, I mean, it's not that I dislike them. I've just never kind of gotten into them. You have to understand that my first experience with firearms outside of shooting a little 22 as a kid was the Marine Corps, and we weren't using bolt action rifles. So, I was brought into the gun community with handguns and gas operated rifles. So, like I said, that's kind of where I kind of fell in love with that stuff. So that's kind of where I tend to keep my focus on and all that. But I love learning about that stuff. I love reading and all that. But I've never bought a bolt action rifle just because it's never been something that I've been really, really interested in. And maybe that's wrong, but what's up, trucker? There's truckers out there, but like I said, it's okay not to know everything, but I think the people that try to pass them on as the know-all, and we've all seen them in our communities, and we just kind of have to laugh at them and sit there and say, well, God bless him. He's okay. You might need a helmet to ride the bus home, but, it is what it is.
And speaking about people who know a lot, I'm sure there's somebody else that might know something.
I'm sorry?
Maybe we can give them... Maybe someone in the Sandy Hills we can give a shout out to.
Yep, we're going to talk about our GunChannels Blitz, and I don't see your.
I got it.
You got the link you can put out there. Oh, here it is. Do you want to do it, or do you want me to?
Already done.
Okay, so our GunChannels Blitz, guys, and what we try to do, I think Clover and I started this up, a month or 2 ago. We're trying to give content creators that are not necessarily new, but a lot of them are new. And we've had a huge influx of creators that have come and turned their cameras on the last few months, which is amazing. We got to meet a lot of them in Tulsa. And I think that the firearms content community is in really good hands. The future is bright with some of these guys. But we also try to help out people that are either new or their channels aren't growing as quickly as we think they should because their quality of content and maybe they just aren't getting the marketing done and aren't getting noticed. So we like to find channels that we support and we believe in and try to help give them a little boost and all that. And I think John put out the channel out there, and it's Sandhill Shooters. And you guys know John. A lot of you guys know John. He's on a lot on Caliber Corner with Travis. He sits in on hit or miss quite a bit, but Sandhill Shooters from Nebraska is a great guy. We met him in Tulsa, and he can sing really well. So, but he's a great guy. So what we're asking you to do is go check out his channel. We're not asking you to subscribe to him. We're not asking you to do anything except for go check out his channel. Go watch a few of his videos. If you happen to like his content, then go ahead and subscribe to him and go ahead and push the notification bell. And then find a video that you really do like, make a comment on there, and at the end of it saying, oh, by the way, you've been hit with the gun channel, hashtag GunChannels Blitz, and I'll put that out there. And let them know that that we're there to support them. Like I said, don't just go with something because we say so. If you like the content and you actually want to start watching his content and following him a little bit, then go ahead and get over there and hashtag the GunChannels Blitz. So Mel the Nut says he's subbed already. Well, then go unsub and resub. He said he thinks he was the number 100 not too long ago. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think that Sandhills was like at 40 or 50 before Tulsa, and has absolutely like blown up in the last week or two. I think Tulsa has helped out a lot. And but John's a great guy in person, and I'll say this about everyone that I've met. I've met a lot of people through gun channels, in Tulsa or at SHOT Show and all that, and I can say without a doubt that I have not come across one person that wasn't exactly the same in person as they are on camera. Now that might not be good, because if you don't like me on camera, then you probably aren't going to like me in real life. But if you don't like me on camera, then you're probably not watching me anyway. So it's all good. But it was very refreshing to know that everyone is the same. And a lot of these people I consider dear, dear friends of mine. And we had never met. And so it was really, really cool to finally meet. You know, I've met G and Clover, as seen them a bunch of times, but John, I had never met John face to face. I had never met Dano face to face, or Tardot, or Roll Call, Night Strike, and all these guys I had never met face to face, and they are the same off camera as they are on, which is very, very refreshing to know that it's not an act. So. But go check out Sandhill Shooting. Hey, what's up, Nightwolf? Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Sandhill Shooter is doing some good stuff over there, and I think he's trying to turn that camera on a little bit more and more. And so, any guys, what do you guys think about John? You guys enjoy him over at Tulsa?
Well, I wasn't at Tulsa, but I want to say this: Sandhill, that video you put out this morning was absolutely phenomenal. I hope you get 5 million likes on that thing, brother. And 5 million shares.
Yeah. 72 people killed in gun confiscation in Massachusetts, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It is an excellent video. If you haven't watched it, you need to. I have shared it to Facebook. I have shared it to Twitter. So, guys, watch this video, share it, get it out there. It is eye-opening, to say the least.
Rich says he's over 50,000 views on that already. That's awesome.
Oh, Sandhills?
Yeah, 50,000 views.
He's over 62,000 now.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome. Good for him. Good for him. Brilliant title.
It's nice to see somebody get the recognition they deserve when they put out something really excellent like that.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, go check him out. And guys, it is, man, it's 8:45. I had no idea. My God. I've had a long few days at work. I've put in, I think, 3 straight 14-hour days, which is great because, I like being busy. I just didn't realize when I finally got done with work and I could actually talk to you guys and be around it. It was nice. I've been gone the last few days. I couldn't watch any shows or anything like that. And I just like to talk sometimes. And the more tired I get, the more I talk, which is, I don't know if that's good or not.
Hey,
yeah.
I don't know if you had a chance to check out the link I gave you about the New York politics.
I did.
Gun politics in New York.
Yeah, I sure did.
I mean, you literally can see someone somewhere in New York, obviously Democrat and progressive, new bills left and right, anti-gun, all over the place.
There was some weird stuff on that website about what they're trying to do. I'll give you that. But is that normal? I mean, I imagine
for New York,
like
New York, that's super normal.
I was gonna say that's probably not abnormal for you guys,
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, it's about that time. I basically kind of court hit or miss for a long time. I apologize. I honest to God, I didn't realize what time it was. I really didn't. I was just glad to be back and talking with people and all of that. So I apologize to Night Strike and Smeggy and Travis and all those guys. A bunch of my guys probably already left and watched anyways, and hell, half of my panel is probably over there watching. So it's all good. Rick, Semper Fi, brother. But I want to say, go check out the remainder of Hit or Miss. If you're on YouTube, it's Night Strike 1 is his channel. If you're on GunChannels, the channel's Hit or Miss with dashes in between each word. But go check out Hit or Miss with Night Strike and Smeggy and Travis and the whole crew. Big Racer, what's going on? But yeah, go check them out. And I want to say thank you for everyone watching. I've been kind of rambling a little bit tonight. I think I really do talk more when I get tired, and I'll probably go home tonight and just pass out. But thank you for everyone. I hope you got your taxes done. If not, file that extension quickly. You've got a couple hours left. Get your taxes done. The government needs more money to screw us, so it's all good. Thank you for everyone that watched. Go check out GunChannels.com. We'll run through the room real quick and go through any plugs. Clover, you got some shows coming up tomorrow night. We got Next Generation, correct?
Yeah, tomorrow's Next Gen, and we finish up with the video game. We're going to go over positives and negatives of video games on kiddos. Right? And last week we done the negatives, and we didn't have any time to do the positives, so we do the positives this week.
This is part deux for anyone.
Part deux, exactly.
And we've also got Thursday night is the Nerd Chat after hours, which I love. It's probably my favorite chat of the week. And you got Firearm Friday on Friday, so he's a busy dude. So go check out Clover Tax channel. G, what you got coming? You got Daily Gun Show tonight, or are you going to change it to the mornings now full time?
I think he dropped.
Oh, did he? He still should. Okay, he did.
I don't.
Yep.
Okay. He's been going morning the last couple of days, but is that going to be something permanent, or do we know yet?
That was just a one-time thing since they didn't have the show last night. They will be on tonight.
Okay, they will be on tonight. Good. Grim, what you got going on? Anything? You just educating?
Educating the kids
before summer vacation.
No, we still got like 26 days or 27 days.
Like that at all.
I don't know. Somebody wrote it on the board. No, the two things. If anyone wants to donate to the March of Dimes premature baby walk across America, I think it's. I know ours is this weekend, so I'm going to have to hobble and do a 5K with my knee, but I'm going to toss a link in there in the chat if anyone wants to. The other thing is those of you near Illinois or Springfield, Illinois, like Dano was saying earlier, iGold, which is the Illinois Gun Owners Lobby Day, sponsored by the Illinois State Rifle Association, is next Wednesday, the 25th at 11 o'clock. And yeah, there's usually a couple thousand there. I'm trying to get the day off still, but we'll see if that gets approved. But thanks again for the invite.
I love having you. I appreciate you. It was great meeting you in Tulsa. You're one of the people that you're one of the very few, and John obviously, John because I'm John. No kidding, dude. You're one of the few people that the second you opened your mouth and said something, the voice. So it was really it was great hanging out with you and meeting your two brothers. That was awesome. But thanks for coming on, buddy. Appreciate you very much. Dano, what you got? You got anything coming up?
Well, I got still have more Wanamaker goodness coming through on Instagram. So check it out. Just Dano GC on Instagram. Got some more Wanamaker photos coming out in the coming weeks. So got that coming out.
You had some really good stuff on Instagram that you had from Wanamaker and all that. That was really good stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
John, what you got?
Just thanks everybody for joining us.
Some lessons with the Block 18.
Absolutely. Just want to thank everybody for joining us, and I'm very, very proud and honored to be part of this Gun Channels family, and I'm glad to have everybody that. Happy to have met a lot of you at the Tulsa Gun Show, and it was quite the experience, and it was a lifetime sort of experience, and I hope to be able to have the chance to do it again, and maybe or some old faces, however you want to put it.
Right. Yeah, it was great to see. We had over 30 people there, and it was a wonderful experience, and not just meeting everybody. Obviously, we know that J.M. Davis is awesome. We all also know that Wanamaker is awesome, but the memories that a lot of us will have hanging out in the lobby, we won't forget some of those memories. And there was some great times had. It was great seeing everybody, great meeting everybody. Can't thank enough for all showing up. I can't thank enough for watching the show And go check out GunChannels.com. Go check out Hit or Miss. I don't know if Big Gunner is going to come on tonight. He's been doing a lot of 3D printing lately, so he might be coming on. But check out Daily Gun Show on YouTube. It's Daily Gun Show, and on Gun Channels, it's Daily Gun Show. Come on at midnight Eastern every night, or at least they try to. I know they've been when G's on the road. Sometimes it's a little more difficult, but go check them out. Thank you once again for showing up and watching this fiasco happen. There's nothing like watching a good train wreck live. So thank you for all your support, and go shoot a gun. Go take someone to the range. Go invite somebody to the range that may not have ever shot. Stay vigilant, stay strong, and keep fighting, guys. Semper Fi.